Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am your host, Willie Bragg, and we have a special guest this evening here.
Hello, welcome to
Jimi
another edition
Sunderland.
of the Willie.
Oh,
Hi, I'm watching you on YouTube as well, as you can tell.
oh, oh, okay, that's all right. So, yeah, hey, Jimmy, how are you this evening?
I am awesome. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I took a little nap this for a while. I'm up and got a little bit of energy, so I'm ready. I guess I'm ready to go. So,
Yeah.
that's
I got a
what we're here
little bit of
for.
sleep today. I got to sleep in a little bit later than I normally do throughout the weekday. And then I've just been in a meeting like all day today. We were in a
Yeah.
meeting earlier today, and then I
Oh yeah.
stayed on. I was still in the after meeting till probably about 20-30 minutes ago. So I've been in a meeting
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah. I skedaddled out of that meeting, over there, and I was like, "Well, I'm just going to rest up for a little while." So,
Right.
yeah, and then I'll probably go. I'll probably go out to dinner as soon as this video's over. Probably going to go to Denny's tonight or something like that to grab a bite. That's what I normally do on Sunday nights, anyway.
What do you
And,
get there? Do you always get the same thing, or you like to switch it up?
It depends on what I'm in the mood for, whether it's breakfast or whether it's if I'm feeling like I want breakfast, I'll have like I'll have an omelet, and I'm okay with hash, but I prefer like seasoned fries with it. So they'll have that, or if sometimes I'll go for a steak, and it just depends what I'm in the mood for.
Right.
Not just a
I
regular
haven't been there in
hamburger.
a long time. Do they still have the moons over my hammy?
Yep, they sure
They
do.
still have that?
Yeah.
That was so good. Oh,
Yeah.
I loved that place. It was so delicious. I haven't been
Yeah.
there in a long time. So.
Yeah, the one in outside of Raleigh, they had a bar at that one. So that was like one of the few in the country that actually served alcohol, but then they got rid of it. They stopped serving alcohol as soon as COVID hit, and then when they reopened it to the public, the bar section, that's like no more alcohol. I was like, oh darn,
Jeez, that's bullcrap.
Yeah. So, oh well. Anyway.
Right.
That's all right. So anyway, I guess basically what we're doing today will be normally what I do on this show, and that's essentially to discuss some of the political topics and the online gossip and just some of the stuff that I love to discuss on the show normally. And there's somebody named Neil Algorithms, and he asked me to play a video called "Force the Primary" in 2024, and I told him I will do that, and encourage people to go and support his channel. So I think that maybe you and I probably should watch a video. It's like 8 minutes 29 seconds, so maybe we should watch the video and maybe comment afterwards. So
all right. Sounds good.
Okay.
What's up,
right.
Snipe Hunter? He's in your comments section. What's up, dude?
What's that now?
You got Snipe Hunter in your comments section.
Oh, okay. I know Snipe Hunter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually know Snipe Hunter. I known Snipe Hunter for a long time.
Okay, yeah, he says, I remember our late college adventures at Denny's.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Did you dine and ditch? Did you ever dine and ditch?
Dine and ditch?
Mm-hmm. Where you go and eat at a Denny's and then you run out before you have to pay for your food?
No, but I have been obnoxious at Denny's at time. One evening I had a police officer get on me at 2:30 in the morning.
Damn, Willie, shit just got serious. Let's hear the tea. Come on, dish it.
Well, there's not much to it. I mean, I was just a young college kid at the time, and I was just like it was like maybe about 12 of us 10, 12 of us and everything. And we had the tables kind of stacked together. And I was like at the head of the table, and we were all getting our foods. And, and I would just like, it was like, I was like very angry at the Republicans at the time, and the Christian right evangelicals were riding high politically at the time. So I just made a mock prayer. It's like, oh Lord, let us thank you, like that and everything. And it made some of the older folks uneasy in there, and the police officer came in there and told me that he's going to ask me to leave if I do that again. So that's all that was about.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. You're a fucking rock star, Willie. Fucking A.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I guess I can make a scene whenever I want to. So
that's right.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and play "Force the Primary" by Neo Algorithm. So let me get this thing set up here. All right. Okay. Neo.
Oh, okay. He said you guys got dined and dashed on by one of the people that night, though.
Oh yeah. One person did get out of not paying. Because it was such a large group of people, and the person did get out of non-paying. I'm now remembering that it's almost 30 years ago, and the person that basically got away with it. It was within his character to do that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Very nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get this thing set up, and hold on a second here. Okay, let me. Okay. Oh. What did I do that for? Okay, hold on a second. Right there. Okay, I know what I was trying to do. Okay, I see what I was trying to do. Okay, I was trying to make this video look fuller here. Okay. All right, here it is. Force the Primary 2024 by Neo Algorithm.
Okay.
That was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution will not be televised, we were saying that like that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film. It'll just be something that you see, and all of a sudden you realize I'm on the wrong page, or I'm on the right page, but I'm on the wrong note, and I've got to get in sync with everyone else to understand what's happening in this country.
It's time we fired these two. Joe and Kamala's rule leaves major issues unresolved. I'm Neo. Please forgive my mask. The government might kill me if this works. I'm a former Bernie Sanders supporter. In 5 minutes, I'll show how a candidate we choose can be president in 2024 for free. For any lefty, finding motivation in another presidential election is difficult.
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ballgame, but...
Our hearts and money went into the Bernie campaigns, only to have hope crushed by a corrupt media, a corrupt party, and even Bernie himself. Also, Trump was president. But without immediate mobilization, corruption continues. To win, after many failed elections, we need an online campaign run by people, not a politician. We also must learn what's required to get our candidate on the ballot before it's too late. Campaigns traditionally run behind closed doors and cost a fortune. Join me on this channel, and we'll run a free online people's campaign against a sitting president. This is Force the Primary 2024. Joe is uniquely unpopular, and the Democratic primary of 1980, when Ted Kennedy challenged Jimmy Carter, was 42 years ago. A sitting Democratic president hasn't been seriously contested since. Clearly it's time to do so, but nobody knows how. Ideally, Bernie would stand up and challenge Joe, but he refuses.
Bernie says he will support Biden re-election bid and will not run against him. Bernie said on Monday that he would support a re-election bid by President Biden if he decided to run. for another term.
As do others.
I just want to ask about President Biden. He is saying he's going to run again in 2024. Will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think if the president has a vision, and that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, you know, I think we should endorse when we get to it. But I believe that the president's been doing a very good job so far. And, you know, should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Him abandoning us is kind of bullshit, though. Going from not me, us, to definitely not me. It had me asking, so what, Bernie? We just accept no problem or major priorities? Of course not.
No.
We must face the major problems. We things under this administration or party. We don't yet have a leader, and whoever we choose must overcome familiar roadblocks from recent elections. Third, but most important, we must act immediately to defeat a corrupt president. Candidacy announcements are long overdue, and Trump's already announced.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
So we're obviously late. Some disagree with running through a party that shut us out twice, and I can agree with that perspective. Additionally, it's unclear if Bernie is still the best candidate. We'll solve these problems and disagreements in a series of weekly live streams by gathering the left on this channel, deciding together through audience-led discussions and voting who our candidate is, do we run inside or outside the party, and what issues our campaign fights for. Lastly, we'll contact our candidate to ask they run and offer campaign support. You can be pivotal. By helping us attain what Bernie lacked in the past, enough awareness for our campaign against Joe. Launch this channel to 1 million subscribers, following our motto, if you agree, share times 3. This is our petition, and it'll help us beat the media that refuses to cover our candidate. The deadline is March 1st, 2023. We must meet it, because I wouldn't like raising false hope that we'll run someone new against Trump. A deadline ensures we waste nobody's time. If we meet our goals, the following streams will cover final steps people must take: getting our candidate on the actual 2024 ballot and registering to vote in the primary that year to unseat Joe.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
Our first weekly live streams will air at 8 p.m. Central Time on Saturdays if this petition/channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. Please email me at this address with subject line live stream if you'd like to speak one day. Right now, it could be just us, but perhaps we're a small community, or even a tsunami, collaborating to rebuild that Bernie far from the past. Subject line Avengers. If you're a journalist with an audience on YouTube or Rumble who may want to spread awareness for our cause or join a live stream, and if the Bernie team's watching, we'd obviously like to meet. Email us with subject line Team Sanders, and we'll try to get you on the show. And that's it. If you want these changes implemented and a president aligned with your views, then let's do this. Let's finally address the left's concerns and change the country through our screens. Once we have the presidency, we can set our sights on the Democratic Party, but I'll save that for later. Let's start with the top, then work our way down. Join this movement. I'm excited to speak with you one day. And remember, if you agree, share times 3.
Okay. So tell me what's your take on this?
That's great. I mean, good luck for him. I love his optimist attitude. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a lot of optimism there. And and the thing is that I mean, I had a lot of optimism in 2016 and 2020, and I like to have that optimism back. Um, but it was optimism met with a lot of just a lot of anger at the end, for my perspective. And anybody who knows me personally, they know I just both times I didn't handle it well. and,
Right.
and that's my thing for my own personal. I'm sort of on the basis of policy, I'm with him. I will want Bernie to run, but on what I've seen in the past, what they did to Bernie, I have reservations about him running unless he decides to say, fuck it, I'm doing it third party. Now, if he does it third party, that energy will come back with me because, he wants to figuratively burn everything down, figuratively speaking. So, I mean, that's where I stand on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of, me personally, I'm a little over Bernie himself. I think that us as a movement, especially a progressive movement, I know the only way that's going to get us motivated and moving is if we find some kind of golden cow to worship or something, like we did with Bernie and, we do with all these people. But I think what it is the mass movement itself is what's really going to get things going. It seems like anytime we idolize one person for doing a bunch of good things, they tend to disappoint us in the end. So I think that, that's great on him, if he wants to run Bernie in a different party, by all means, have at it, have fun, go for it. But I think the real only change is really from the ground up, got to learn how to initiate bills into Congress or into law or, even in local states and, need to teach people how to lobby. We got to get in there and start doing things more than just waiting for a president. So.
And that is true. And that's the thing. He did kind of build in Vermont from the ground up what he did. And if people could copy from it as example around the country and create something that could be successful. But we have a lot of barriers around the country, and it's easy to get discouraged. And that's part of it right there. And I mean, they have done a good job. The corporatists and right wing and even a lot of turncoats and the Democratic Party has done a good job basically weakening the left. That someone like a Bernie come along, we're all like, well, back then we're all like, yay Bernie, and I have my anger management at Bernie sometimes because he bends the knee too much, and that's my big complaint about him, the bending of the knee constantly. The policies are great, but the bending of the knee annoys me to no end. Mm-hmm. And so I saw that in 2020 that in my opinion, I think that Ro Khanna tried to mold him or advise him to be just a little bit more like an edgier Democrat. And I think that was his downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To make him an edgier Democrat?
Yeah, instead of just being the Bernie he was in 2016.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's how he comes across now. He comes across as a slightly better Democrat, and the excitement factor doesn't do it for me anymore. But I have a sentimentalism about Bernie that's hard to break away to. And it goes back to the 1990s for me because I was like Bernie Sanders before everybody else, and just.
Yeah, I had a very special, unique love for Bernie, politics and all of that aside. I really, really, truly idolized Bernie. I mean, I could even picture myself like opening up presents with him on Christmas and going trick-or-treating with him on Halloween. Like I really felt like he was like a grandpa to me. So yeah, no, I definitely understand where you're coming from. It's only recent that I've started to turn away from even that kind of feeling towards him. I think it was when one of the anti-war protesters came up to him and asked him questions, and he said, who paid you? Who are you working for? Are you paid by the Russians? And I think Warren showed me that a couple of weeks ago, and it made me cry. I literally started crying. So I was like, I can't have another, as a female, I can't have another man break my heart. I'm done. I'm over it. No more men breaking my heart. Bernie was the final straw.
I understand that person was Nick Brana. So yeah, that he said that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, that was disappointing. And I was told by a friend of mine, from the time period back in the anti-war movement that who pays you was something that the right wing would tell anti-war protesters back in the 60s and early 70s. I mean, it would be something they will say, and to have Bernie Sanders say that to somebody, that is kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the mainstream left and right do it to each other all the time. If you're on the progressive side and you're doing something what you consider good for community and bettering the economy or even the government, they're going to call you, like you're paid by Soros. And then if you're on the right side doing what you consider is good for the economy on your own opinions, they're going to say that you're paid by the Koch brothers. So it's always back and forth either or. And I'm still waiting for my Soros check. He owes me a lot of fucking money. So.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a breakup on the sound thing here. I think but we're clear now. I think you're saying, if you're on the left, people accuse you of being backed by Soros. If you're on the right, they'll accuse you of being backed by Putin. And
by like the Koch brothers.
Well, yeah. I think that with Putin, people on the left and right get the accusations. So
right. I'm still waiting for my Soros check.
A friend of mine said that. One of my friends said that about a decade ago. He said he said he's waiting for his Soros check because he's a minister, and he's like a very progressive minister, and people know who he is, and he'll be like, he got online and he said, and he decided to be sarcastic. It's like, I'm waiting for my check from George Soros, by the way. He did it on a Facebook group just to kind of piss off some of the right wingers. So, and it was kind of funny when he said it. He has he has kind of a very polite way of pissing people off, and it's a very unique approach that he has. So anyhow, I just thought about that.
I agree with him. I'm still waiting on mine too. He owes me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Les Bones is paid by Ronald McDonald. He gets paid by chicken nuggets. Lucky.
Oh my! Yep.
Lucky bastard. How do I get paid with chicken nuggets? I want to be paid by Ronald McDonald. That's genius.
Yeah, chicken McNuggets, that goes a long way. Yep. So
I'll work for chicken nuggies. Absolutely.
We have another video by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, well, I mean, I think that there's a wake-up call, but it's not about the rail strikes. But it's not about the rail strike this time. It's about allegations or that we're going to find out more detail about in New Year's. But they are talking about it on this week on Rising. So I'll let Brianna, Joy Gray, and Robbie Schroeb, I think that's his name. We'll let them talk about that, and I guess we'll comment on that as well in a few moments.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Trying to find that right there. Let me go make that screen full. There we go.
I'm with you, John. If you don't get the fries, he's getting robbed. I want fries with those chicken nuggies for show. Your friend Snipe Hunter is working on a McRib deal.
I always get a Big Mac when I go to McDonald's, so I always like
Really?
that. Yes. Oh, I
I
will
can't
tell you.
handle all that lettuce. Too much
I'm gonna
lettuce.
tell you the best thing for McDonald's right now. Not that I want to promote a capitalist company, but
Right.
especially one that harms workers, because they all do in a lot of ways. But
Right.
their holiday pies are the bomb. I mean,
Really?
with the little custard in there. I can't figure out how anything so damn cheap could be so delicious.
All right.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to try that.
it's some locations where they alternate it in certain areas. If you love like a hot custard, it's like the apple pie, but it has the custard in there. And if you got a sweet tooth, that is just like, I mean, it's just awesome. And
Okay.
yes, I highly
I'm
recommend
down
it.
to try it. I'm down to try it. I've never had it before. I strictly do like my double quarter pounder and some French fries or some chicken nuggets, and that's it. Like I just stick to the same thing.
Well, that sounds good too. So
Yeah, it does. I know. I'm starting to get hungry.
yeah, me too. Well, here we go with Rising. Let's see what Brianna and Robbie has to say about AOC.
Okay.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is under investigation. The House Ethics Committee released a statement Wednesday saying it was extending its inquiry of the AOC, but it was not clear what specifically they're investigating. The statement did note that the probe doesn't mean she has committed any violation.
AOC was first hit with a complaint last year over attending fashion's biggest night, the Met Gala in 2021. I'll just remember her dress. Conservative watchdog group, the National Legal and Policy Center, alleged in their complaint that she improperly accepted tickets for herself and for her boyfriend. But according to House rules, members are allowed to accept free tickets to charity events from event organizers, which would presumably insulate her from any violation, as the Metropolitan Museum of Art did invite her.
And she wasn't the only Congress member there, even.
No. So we got to be very careful with it. I'm going to read the whole statement. Pursuant to House rule, this is from the acting chairwoman of the Ethics Committee. Pursuant to a House rule, the acting chairwoman and acting ranking member of the Committee on Ethics have jointly decided to extend the matter regarding Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which was transmitted to the committee. The committee notes that the mere fact of a referral or an extension and the mandatory disclosure of such an extension does not indicate that any violation has occurred. So we want to be very careful.
Yeah.
We don't really know so it looks like they're looking into that matter still because it's been extended. But based on that information we've been given, I would not predict that it would be determined that she violated any rule. Maybe there's something else, but we know absolutely nothing.
I was curious about why they made an announcement at all, given that making an announcement without giving any meat to it sets her up for some bad faith criticisms potentially if nothing comes of it. But you're pointing out that there's a mandatory disclosure requirement. Does clarify why they would do this in the first instance. Look, it's tough for AOC. I'm not one to have any interest in criticizing her for some of the bad faith reasons that are out there, and there are a lot out there. But, this is also a time where she's under a lot of scrutiny from the left for what is perceived to be a really bad vote on the TA for the railroad workers, where the Biden administration, which has gotten a lot of criticism, even from unlikely sources, including Jake Tapper, has really, railroaded these workers and prevented them from having the leverage that all other union members have to go on strike and to get some really basic demands here, just 7 days of sick leave, where they currently have none. So the fact that squad members, all but one, Rashida Tlaib was the only one who didn't, in fact, go ahead and vote for this temporary agreement. It seems to be a violation, a very fundamental violation of what a progressive, what a self-described socialist would do, which is to stand with workers. This was a subject of an episode I just put out today on my own podcast.
Yeah, you tangled with my former co-host, Ryan Graham.
My former boss, Ryan Graham. It was a very tense conversation because Seattle City Councilwoman Shama Sawant, who is also a socialist and someone who's held in very high regard as a model of what a lot of leftists hoped the squad would be like, engaged with him directly over the utility and how the wiseness of this vote. It was very spicy, and I think it's increasingly difficult difficult for progressives to defend these kinds of actions when we've seen this playbook happen over and over again with the $15 minimum wage and force the vote. And in a vote like this, where they did not have to vote for the TA for the sick leaves to get to the Senate, as I discussed in a radar last week, it really seems kind of unjustifiable. So she's taking it from all sides right now.
She always does. She's just such an object of, she's a fixation for many critics everywhere. Conservative media, it knows that talking about her gets viewers and clicks and etc.
And it's a shame because there's when there is a substantive criticism, I think there are a lot of people on the left who would frankly because they don't want to add to the pie. It's not held bad faith. There's a tendency, I think, when you get unfairly attacked a lot, when you're very online, to want to say everything is bad faith, and ultimately that can prevent you from offering some correctives that might be necessary.
She got some good faith, I would say, criticism about her views on Ukraine, or if she was going to do anything to rein in unending spending, U.S. spending for the Ukrainian defense, that she kind of deflected, didn't want to talk about at all a number of times.
And that's a big issue too. So many of these figures, the bad faith attacks can fester because they don't make themselves accessible to media, and they especially don't make themselves accessible to, I'd argue, the friendly left media that initially put them on the map in the first instance, that is prepared to offer the good faith critique. So all they hear is the bad faith stuff that's coming through the more conservative outlets.
We'd be happy to have her on, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I wanted to note also this committee, this ethics committee, recently sanctioned Representative Madison Cawthorn, outgoing Representative Madison Cawthorn, was not reelected, for crypto involvement. They said he benefited financially while purchasing a cryptocurrency that he was promoting. The committee report said, while cryptocurrency promotion, particularly of a meme coin, may be a novel issue before the committee, whether a member may promote an asset in which that member has a financial interest is not a novel question, and he was fined $14,000 in order to pay that to charity. He planned to make donations to a spinal cord and paralysis treatment center and a gun rights group, he said in a statement.
What a world. The fact that there's so much latitude for Congress members. I mean, he got sanctioned, but the vast majority of the kind of financial entanglements, betting on the stock market when they obviously have insider information, the fact that that is frankly legal, and that
this is likely very small ball compared to what many of our people
the Pelosi's are up to, and all of those kinds of things. And then
oh gosh, okay, we have a commercial here. All right, hold on, I'm going to silence that thing until we get. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good.
Besides for it having legislation to actually change the status quo and saying, no, actually, it would be unfair. Even Ro Khanna, who's had a lot of good takes recently, defended. He said it would be unfair to prevent spouses from being able to trade stock just because their partner gets involved in politics. I mean, come on. Every other industry, as a lawyer, as a banker, you get a lot of statements telling you have to put this in a blind trust. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's absurd that of all people, Congress people would be pushing back against this sort of thing. But
Cawthorn just did it in a too clumsy, too obvious sort of way.
Here's a little clip of today's bad faith in the discussion with Ryan Grimm.
Are you saying that those of us who are standing up for workers, we have the responsibility? You have the responsibility.
Yes, you have to find one more.
They have to justify why it is that they voted to break a strike, knowing that they literally had zero to gain from it.
The workers felt they had something to gain from it. Maybe the workers don't want to be part of this fantasy play. Like the workers, like actually,
what are you talking?
To get rid of the Railway Labor Act?
If socialists and progressives had voted only for a bill with basically, who in their right mind, who's on the side of the railroad workers, would be blaming them for this? This is complete nonsense.
The rank and file organizers inside BMWED, they push this strategy.
You cannot.
And you're like, well, there's some conservative, and you smear them as conservative. On what basis are you smearing that these workers?
I do not appreciate you obscuring what I said.
Look, if they had done what you said, like vote no and then they vote yes, wouldn't their critics be saying, oh, that was just a performative no vote, and they still voted for the sick leave, which then is a fig leaf that covers this thing, that then allows it to get over the Senate, which then and then the Senate takes it out.
No,
So-
nobody's saying that
this
about.
No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Brianna. This is a complete straw man argument that has no basis in reality. If socialists and progressive had voted only for a bill with paid sick leave, who in their right mind, who's on the side of the railroad workers, would be blaming them for that? This is complete nonsense. And it's really just a way to, again,
Wait a minute.
away from the reality that nobody in their right mind, Ryan, maybe despite being a political analyst, you thought that the Senate, there was any chance of the Senate voting yes on a paid sick leave bill, but as Brianna, you were saying, workers in their right mind understood that there was zero chance of this passing in the Senate. So what they did, what they actually did is what's performative, which is where they gave cover to the Biden administration and to the Republicans to break the strike and to sell out the workers. And yes, Biden did betray, and the betrayal began with the Biden administration. There is no question about that. But it is commentators like yourself who will then, at any moment, whoever among the Democratic Party is in the crossfire of workers, justifiably, then those people are going to be protected. So when the fire was against workers were angry against AOC and Jayapal, then suddenly AOC starts tweeting, and then you all start defending her by saying, oh well, the unions wanted it. But as I was clarifying before you came, it wasn't Union rank and file. I don't know which rank and file you spoke to, but it is just complete nonsense to say that railroad workers who are just struggling for their basic survival were somehow going to be accepting this.
We'll continue to follow this if there is indeed an update with this AOC investigation.
Absolutely.
And we'll have more Rising for you right after this.
Okay. So what's your make of this AOC with the investigation going on and the rail strike?
Mm-hmm. I was wondering why they were putting those two together, because they don't really have anything. Like, her wearing that dress has nothing to do with the railroad strike going on right now. But I was watching a little bit more, and I kind of understood what they were trying to do. Like, I guess AOC is out there being all high fashion and doing all these hoity-toity things, while the railroad workers can't even get like a paid sick day. And then, she's not voting with the railroad workers and she's voting against them. So I kind of understand now what they're trying to do. It seems a little petty to me. It seems, what I don't really appreciate her going out and doing the whole virtue signaling and wearing the dress. Yes, we need to tax the rich, but I don't know. I'm for the railroad workers too. So that thing was like completely confusing, why they were putting two and two together for that whole thing when they could have just talked about the investigation into her dress and then just said, like, she does all this high fancy stuff and people out in the country can't even, I don't know, make minimum wage, a decent livable minimum wage or some other thing. It almost seems, sorry to say, but it almost seems like Bree and them were just trying to promote the Ryan Grimm interview again. So I don't know.
Well, first, for starters, the hilarious dress. Am I right? Doesn't it look like a Chick-fil-A bag?
You're very right. Yes, it does absolutely look like a Chick-fil-A bag.
That was the first thing that came across my mind when I first saw that earlier this year. I was just like,
oh my God. It does. Yeah. It absolutely does. Yes. It does.
Yeah. But whatever if she's guilty of anything with regard to the investigation, I think that nothing's going to happen to her, because if anything's going to happen to her, it's going to happen to a lot of other people, big and small. There's a lot of things that, I don't even think Donald Trump's going to get in trouble with any of this, and, what we're talking about Donald Trump, or whether we're talking about Bill Clinton going to the, what was it, that scandal, what was the scandal in the 1990s? I cannot think of the name of that scandal in the 1990s with the property that he and Hillary Clinton were involved with. Anyway, whatever it is, all these politicians from both parties, they're involved with these shady deals and all of that, and nothing ever happens to them. So this is just a little just a little drizzle on a water on a drain or something. It's not even that big a deal what's going to happen as far as AOC and the allegations. And I'm sure some people on the right wing they'll be like, yeah, we're going to go after her and make an example out of her. She's not going to, nothing's going to happen. As far as AOC, I mean, this rail strike was really the last straw, as far as anything that I could ever, it'll be very hard I can't forgive her from this rail strike vote. I mean, of all the things of all the basic things that she could, of all the basic things to vote on, to vote against union workers, to be socialist, and to basically vote on legislations that will make Margaret Thatcher in Great Britain happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
I know. Same.
And so I can't forgive her for that. I'm like, you're done, and I defended her for a long time. I defended her. I staunchly defended her and everything. And she let me down with forced to vote. And I still, to this day, believe that forced to vote would have done something. It wouldn't have brought us Medicare for all, but they would have been forced to do something. They would have been forced to do something. And corporate Democrats realize how weak the fraud of the squad are. Right there. They'll be like, yeah, we don't have to do anything for these people. So that they pretty much continue to get away with what they get away with, and the squad are control opposition, including AOC. So yeah, like Les Bones says, it was a turning point, and that was the turning point right there. It was right there where I was I saw the AOC and company for what they were, refusing to hold Nancy Pelosi's seat hostage. And yeah, it's just nuts.
Yep.
And ironically, Kevin McCarthy is probably going to be Speaker of the House with a vote by AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's the weirdest development I've ever seen in my life, is the way that things are turning around in Congress. I mean, it could be that Hakeem Jeffries may become Speaker of the House, but if Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker of the House, it'll be because Democrats and some moderate Republicans, plus a nutcase like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who got some concessions out of Kevin McCarthy, will vote for Kevin McCarthy, and the Democrats will be voting for Kevin McCarthy to stop a more right-wing Speaker of the House, as if that's going to make a difference on anything. So, yeah. I think that we should go with the next story. And this is The Amazing Atheist, and he's talking about Wild Bill for America. So, yeah, I know you just got familiar with The Amazing Atheist, and this is him when he was a little bit younger. And you'll see how obnoxious this Wild Bill for America character is. He is very obnoxious. So let me go ahead and get everything set up, and we'll get started. All right, hold on a second here. Yeah, TJ's not wearing makeup this time like he's been doing normally the past year. Here we go.
There's a YouTuber by the name of Wild Bill for America. Not exactly sure how to describe Wild Bill for America. The only word that honestly comes to mind is he's the only person that I've ever watched and just sat there feeling sorry for myself. Why am I watching this? Am I in hell? How much time has passed? 34 seconds? I could swear I've been here for an eternity. What's wrong with Wild Bill for America? Well, let's start by reviewing his top 3 most viewed videos from his YouTube channel, the most viewed of which is entitled Secret Service Secrets. wherein Wild Bill tells us all about his friends in the Secret Service, and apparently they don't live up to their name, Secret Service, because they tell Wild Bill all the latest gossip on the presidents. And guess what? Every single Republican president has been nice and awesome and cool and smart. Yeah, even George Bush, our dumbest fucking president, is described by Wild Bill's friends in the Secret Service as the most intelligent person they've ever met and that has probably ever existed in the history of the world.
President Ronald Reagan not only knew the names of every agent assigned to him, he also knew the names of all their children and how they were doing in school. Barbara Bush was known to head out into the cold, snowy night to make sure the agents on perimeter duty had warm enough clothing. The agents unanimously described George W. Bush as the most intelligent and disciplined president, always ready to share a smile and a joke.
Whereas all the Democrat presidents have been horrible and mean and classist and cruel and stupid and vindictive and racist.
The Clintons were completely different. Hillary despised the Secret Service agents and anyone who was law enforcement or military. Al Gore is described as openly disrespectful and arrogant. The Secret Service agents who are with Obama every day describe him as the sneakiest president ever. Michelle Obama is reported to be a hardcore racist who smiles for the cameras, but when they're gone, she makes it clear she hates.
Okay, so here. Politicians are the most image-conscious people ever, even more so than celebrities. Politicians are uber concerned at all times about their fucking image. Do you honestly think that they would let stories like this get out? Reason number 2. Secret Service agents are chosen for, among other things, their fucking discretion. They don't fucking kiss and tell. They're in the Secret fucking Service, you moron. Number 3, even if these politicians did behave in this manner and the Secret Service agents relayed this fact to Wild Bill, he is violating their trust by making a big video about it. If this guy really had friends in the Secret Service, do you think he would jeopardize those connections just to make a stupid fucking YouTube video about how Democrats are mean? Horse shit. Horse shit, horse shit, horse shit. Wild Bill's next most popular video is entitled Liberals with Guns. Basically, the contention of the video is that all of these people who've been doing these mass shootings and shit lately, they've all been liberals. That's the big story that the media is hiding. Liberals with guns, that's the real enemy.
The Fort Hood killer was a registered Democrat Muslim. The Columbine shooters were too young to vote, but their families were registered Democrats and openly liberal. The Virginia Tech murderer wrote hate mail to President Bush. The Colorado theater killer was a registered Democrat. The assassin of kindergartners up in Newtown was a registered Democrat who hated Christians. The most brutal, vicious crimes in America are being committed by liberals with guns.
Here's the fucking problem with this. I mean, I shouldn't even have to fucking explain the problem with this, but here's the problem with this. Liberals are the ones in this country who want to impose gun control. Whether you agree with that or not, the stated objective for proposing this gun control is to reduce violent fucking crime. People with that ideology are not going to be more prone to going and getting a gun and shooting a bunch of people up. That just doesn't make any sense. You don't think I can fucking summon some fucking Republican killers off the top of my head? What about the Oklahoma City fucking bomber, Timothy McVeigh, registered Republican, and his rhetoric was very anti-government. So, hey, what did you make of that? What about Ted Bundy? Serial killer Ted Bundy, intimately involved in the workings of the Republican Party, a major player in the Republican Party in his home state. In fact, most serial killers are white, male, and conservative. What does that mean? Really, it doesn't mean anything. Because there's evil people who will identify as conservatives. There's evil people who will identify as liberals. There's evil people who will identify as apolitical. The human propensity for violence is more complicated than something that exists on party lines, okay? Wild Bill's next most popular video is entitled Obama's Pig. And in this video, Wild Bill explains to us how frivolous lawsuits are really destroying America. And he talks about how Barack Obama, back when he was a senator, organized this big, massive fraud where all of these people made false claims and ended up getting like $1.25 billion from the USDA because they all claim to be black farmers. But the scandal is there's not even that many black farmers in the country. And Obama obviously just orchestrated this whole fucking mess.
Frivolous lawsuits are a cancer on America. 400 black farmers sued the Department of Agriculture saying they had been discriminated against in getting loans for the previous 14 years. In 1999, the farmers won their case, and the Department of Agriculture agreed to pay them each $50,000 to settle. Fast forward to 2010. Suddenly, the Department of Agriculture found itself being forced to pay an additional $1.2 billion on the Pigford case. So what happened? Well, in 2008, a junior senator named Barack Obama got a law passed that reopened the Pigford case to allow more plaintiffs, and what we got was Obama's first billion-dollar fraud against the American people.
In 1997, Timothy Pigford sued the USDA for discriminating against black farmers. Now, at first, there was about 400 other families that were involved in this class action lawsuit. Eventually, there were about 15,000. When the lawsuit went to court with these 15,388 claimants, the claimants won, and they received $769,400,000. Now, at this point, with $770 million having been paid out to these claimants, Obama is not even yet involved in this story, okay? Some black farmers were pissed that they didn't get to put their claims in, basically. And so, in 2006 and 2007, respectively, Republican senators, George Allen and Charles Grassley, both tried to pass bills through Congress that would enable new claimants in the Pigford lawsuit. Republicans tried to do this. It wasn't until 2008 that several senators, one of which was Barack Obama, went to the Senate's House Agricultural Committees who were working on a new farming bill and asked that they please include allowing new claimants in this lawsuit in that particular farming bill. And the committee followed their advice. They allowed new claimants, and eventually the amount of claims paid in the case ballooned up to $1.25 billion. Barack Obama is barely involved. Barely fucking involved. And you know I don't like Obama. I fucking think Obama's terrible. I have a video on my channel called Impeach Obama, and I fucking mean it. But he had nothing to do with this. And he certainly can't be tied to any fraud. So we've seen Wild Bill's top 3 most popular videos, and what have they contained? Lies, bullshit, stupidity, lies, bullshit, stupidity, lies, bullshit. What's that third thing again? Oh yeah, stu-fucking-pitity. You know what the saddest thing about this whole Wild Bill for America thing is? That hat. That could actually be a pretty cool hat if someone hadn't put it on a horse's ass and filmed the results. Fuck you, Wild Bill. You're not for America. You're not for anything but retarded rednecks who I'm surprised they can even use fucking YouTube. I'm TJ Kirk, better known as the Amazing Atheist. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, comment on this video, rate this video, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. I've got a new book out. It's called The Douchebag Bible. It is a compilation of my 3 major books, which are Scumbag, Musings of a Subhuman, In Defense of Evil, Why Good is Bad and Bad is Good, and Neckbeard Uprising, all contained within this one handy-dandy volume. So buy that below.
Alrighty. So what you think?
That's interesting. I'd never even heard of this Wild Bill person. Is this Wild Bill person running for office this coming up election?
No, but he claims to be an independent he's a Trump sycophant. He was a Republican for many years. He joined the Constitutional Party, but he still promotes Donald Trump. So he, he makes no sense. And while he's promoting Donald Trump and claiming he's third party, saying the Republicans are sellout, he still sounds like your typical, Republican Party hack that listens to too much Rush Limbaugh. I mean, that it's 93 Rush Limbaugh talking points with a Southern accent. It's like if Ted Cruz and Chuck Norris had a love child and turned out to be like a dorky version of those two, and those two are dorky, it would be Wild Bill for America.
Wow. I've never even heard of that guy before. He's fucking crazy.
And he's one of those folks that he's obsessed with race, because there's been some videos he claims he's not a racist, and he will make comments like, well, America's not been racist for 50 years. And then he's talking about anti-white racism, and that's all he talks about is anti-white racism against blacks, and blacks against whites, and so he's come out of his little alt-right closet. Recently, while claiming that liberals and progressives are the real racists. It just gives me a headache that people take them seriously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like some kind of preacher as well. And so everything is that the Democrats are evil, liberals are evil, lefties are evil. Not that the Democrats are left, but people like to conflate. And I have to go and sit there and correct these people. It's like, stop saying that the Democrats and the left are one and the same. They're not one and the same. The problem with the Democrats is they're too far right.
Right. Well, there's evil in all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see AOC committing an act of evil by voting against the rail workers. And she's supposedly on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that there. Let's see here. Let me get that link here. All right. Let's see. We get that link ready. All right. Give me a moment. Oh, and we're gonna not have that commercial. I've actually been trying to get an ad blocker here, so I'm hoping it's going to get taken care of this week. Let me take care of this here. Hopefully this ad will go away. It's the Blair White video that I was telling you about. I saw it this morning. And I don't care for this streamer named Xander Hall, but it did pique an interest, so I figure let's go ahead and share it with the audience. So let me go ahead and find it. Here we go. All right, and I can go ahead and do this. And okay, okay. All I have to do is press play, and we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to put it on. It's a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to put it on 1.25 speed. If I need to put it on a little faster, I will. Okay, there we go.
All right, everybody. So we are going to be going over something very, very interesting. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to go, so I don't want you guys to get your hopes up and start, coming up with conclusions to how this entire thing is going to end up in your mind, because I don't want you guys to start getting, too lost in the sauce in some imaginary scenario here. We're going to be watching a video by a content creator named Eli Erlich, Erlick. Now, from my understanding, this is somebody who Blair White, who you guys should all know. I'm not going to sit here and explain who Blair White is. If you guys want to know, really all you need to know about Blair White, look up Blair White is a grifter proof, and just look at all the evidence. my favorite has to be when she faked her political compass test results to her audience, like just definitively faked her political compass test results, because she actually got like a bottom left, like libertarian left result, like just barely, but she knew her fans would get really mad if she was a trans woman who was a little bit left leaning, so she had to like replace the like political compass result with one that gave her a libertarian right result. And the way that we know this is because when you do a political compass test, whatever result you get, the URL to that page with the result is the same every time. So if you and I took a political compass test and put in the exact same answers to every single question, we would not only get the same answer, like the same, but the URL to that result would be exactly the same. So to see Blair White's page for her results yourself, all you have to do is type in the URL. Her URL led to one that was a bottom left green quadrant libertarian left result, when the one she displayed on screen was a bottom right quadrant libertarian right result. Here's where it gets funnier though. If you pay real close attention to Blair White's hotbar in that video, you can literally see a tab that she has open. That's a Google Images tab where you can just barely see that she typed libertarian political compass test result. So that alone, I feel like really just kind of in one general broad image puts who and what Blair White is into complete perspective. What she wants to do with her platform, what her goals are, what drives her and motivates her. I think we know. I think we can put 2 and 2 together here. Anyway, apparently she's getting sued. And frankly, she probably deserves it, considering that Blair White has been making her career for about the last 2 years now, maybe a little bit more, just calling pretty much every single trans woman specifically, usually trans women. Like she doesn't typically beat on trans men because there's really not much the right has. Like the general like transphobic right doesn't necessarily have a preset dialogue tree of like violent propaganda to use towards trans men, because it's a lot harder to prey on cis people's innate.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick.
No problem.
When we're talking about someone like the
I can still hear it though.
Okay.
It's really just, that's how it is, right? So the most you'll really get out of your traditional transphobe is like infantilization, right? You'll get the more like sort of fleshed out propaganda that's anti-trans man from like TERFs, because they're the ones who have like the very like, oh yeah, trans men are women who are just trying to escape womanhood so they don't have to be predated on by men, or they're traitors who are trying to benefit from the patriarchy, right? Like just shit like that, right? Regardless though, Blair White just absolutely loves calling any trans woman left of her who is any more progressive than her a groomer or a potential child predator, whatever it may be, right? That is her go-to because, well, the same reason that every conservative lately has been doing it, because if you tell... So out of all the groups of people in our society, most people, unfortunately right now, aren't even in favor of punching Nazis. Like, no, you can't punch Nazis just for what they believe. You can't do that. No. That's anti-free speech. However, a lot of people who would say exactly that are completely fine with, like, mass killing pedos. That's interesting to me because Blair White and a lot of the right know this, because a lot of them say things such as pedos and the wood chipper and whatnot. They are very big believers of that idea, right? That, like, yeah, they at least they say they are. A lot of them themselves are child predators on the right, but, you know, they'll virtue signal. They want to kill pedos and whatnot. Regardless, though, they know that most of society is so anti-pedo that if you accuse a certain group of being pro-pedo or being pedos themselves or groomers or just people who want to harm and take advantage of children, then you can basically...
Recordings just got better.
Sorry about the commercial.
Justify violence against them or spread propaganda that justifies violence against them without outright having to say it. Most, like the average boomer griller dad, if he found out that there was a pedophile living next door, would like go handle it, you know, or he'd want to go handle it. You know, I think you guys can kind of imagine the type of mindset the average person has when they find out like somebody's a pedo. So when you have these right-wing demagogues saying the trans community, the LGBT community, the gay community, whatever it may be, are all a bunch of pedo groomers who are trying to groom children, it's very obvious what these people are trying to do. Blair White does it as well, but she tries to do this very pseudo, like she's not willing to like fully like lock herself down on it, right? Like, who remembers that one debate she did with the crazy blonde Nazi lady who was, the best thing you can do is just grow out your beard and call yourself a man and just be honest to the world or some shit like that? And Blair
Yeah, I remember that video. And I forgot who I think it was Bosch that played that video. I'm not a Bosch fan, but it was playing that video, and you know, and she basically, this blonde conservative was accusing Blair White of basically soft pedaling pedophilia and things like that too. And it's like I don't agree with Blair White. I don't agree with her right wing politics, but I don't think she promotes pedophilia and all of this sort of thing. And this is the sort of thing that the right wing wants to do. They have normalized or renormalized homophobia by trying to link it with pedophilia, and they're heterosexual people who are into little children, and that's the dirty little secret right there. And you know, and when you tell these right-wing demagogues that, it goes it goes one ear out of the other. And you know, and yeah, as I said, I just, you know,
yeah, but she also puts herself in those situations and takes it and doesn't defend herself either. During that interview, that lady was calling her all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sitting there agreeing with her about it. Like, you're the one that they're making fun of. You're the one that they're calling this. And you're just sitting there taking it instead of defending yourself and fighting, because secretly she agrees with them as well, even though she's considered one of them. So she puts herself in those own kind of stupid predicaments.
Yeah, the thing about it is that she wants to be considered, quote unquote, one of the good ones, and right. if the right gets their way, I mean, I'm talking about this extreme right, this extreme nationalist, extreme right-wing Christian movement gets their way, like they do in places like Iran, where they go and execute, or in places like Saudi Arabia. This is what they want. They want Christian Sharia. They want that here, but they want it under a Christian theology instead of Islam. But that, I think that's one thing they do admire. They hate Muslims, but they certainly love that aspect that exists in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Iran. They want that aspect where the LGBTQ people are executed. They would love to see that here, and they're doing everything they can to demonize them. I mean, Ron DeSantis with his "Don't Say Gay" bill. Was there any necessity to have such a bill in Florida? I mean, you know, whether you're straight or gay, there's no need to promote sex to kids in the school. Why specifically have language that about LGBTQ when it should be, you shouldn't promote regardless of the orientation? It was specifically to demonize the LGBTQ community, and that's one reason why I think that someone like Ron DeSantis is dangerous. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump's, and he's got many faults. One thing I will say about Donald Trump is you don't really hear him mouth off of these culture war shit the way you hear people like a Ron DeSantis or Marjorie Taylor Greene, who ironically idolized Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Just an observation, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'll let him continue.
Blair just spent the entire time in response to that going, no, I'm not like one of the crazy trans activists you don't like. I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good ones. And the lady just kept on hurling abuse and transphobia her way. And Blair's response was just keep on like doing puppy dog eyes and begging for some sort of like affirmation. It was really, really painful to watch, but it gives you an idea of who we're talking about here regardless. Blair White likes to throw a lot of unsubstantiated pot shots and accusations of groomer, pedophile, child predator, what have you, at a lot of people, particularly trans people online. So it's only a matter of time, I figured, before something like this happens. We're suing Blair White. You better believe I'll be linking this video in the chat, as on both sides, my website chat and YouTube chat and Twitch chat, and linking the description of the video, because I want you guys to go to this video and drop a lot of support on it. Obviously, public support doesn't necessarily mean a lot to a lawsuit. Like, it's not going to convince the jury or anything like that. But it really does help if you're trying to take legal action against a very large public figure. Having people telling you you're doing the right thing and offering support really does mean a lot. So that's what I want you guys to do. Drop kind comments, leave support, all of that stuff. turn my camera a little bit. Nice. Anyway, let's get into it. We're suing Blair White.
We're suing Blair White. Here's why. Hi, my name's Eli. I'm a writer, activist, and graduate student. I'm also a trans woman and the subject of one of Blair White's latest videos. If you're here, you probably already know who Blair White is. She's the notorious trans YouTuber that promotes far-right conspiracy theories and chronically defames trans people.
Who I feel like the best example isn't even...
Oh, gosh. Okay.
This one. This was from the Janae Marie Kroc thing, right? Like the Janae Marie Kroc thing is a really good example of Blair White lying and slandering somebody, but she apologized for it when the heat came down, enough for her fans and her to kind of shrug it off as one single mistake on an otherwise extremely clean time. In reality, there is a million other worse or just about as bad things that Blair White has done in regards to lying that she just hasn't been caught for. The really good one that I love bringing up as well, I feel like I always bring it up, is the Canadian Cancer Society one. God, this one was so fucking shameless. Oh my God, I can't believe she did this. This shit was shameless, dude. Holy fuck. This unironically has to be one of the most scummy things Blair has ever done, because there's absolutely no way stupidity can explain it away. It is without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% malice that she did this with, and it actually could hurt people because she's got a massive audience of young trans women that look up to her, because there aren't a lot of other large trans women that are content creators on YouTube to look up to. Anyway, let me show you guys this. So Blair White did a video that was all about making fun of how crazy these trans activists are for believing that they could supposedly get cervical cancer, right? And so she makes this video like, oh, these crazy trans activists think that they can get cervical cancer. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? God, think with common sense, guys. Isn't that crazy? How could anyone claim this? She finishes off the bit in that video by showing this page from the Canadian Cancer Society, this exact page. As a trans woman, do I need to get screened for cervical cancer? I'm going to highlight the bit that she showed. She cut off the text right here. You're about to realize why that is relevant. This is what she showed to back up her point. If you're a trans woman, you may not have given much thought to Pap tests and cervical cancer. And if you haven't, that makes a fair amount of sense. After all, in order to get cervical cancer, you need to have a cervix. That is the organ that connects the vagina to the uterus. If you're a trans woman and have not had bottom surgery, you aren't at risk of cervical cancer. She just showed this. I read that when she showed it on screen and assumed, wait a second, why does it say if you're a trans woman and have not had bottom surgery, you're not at risk? But let's check out this page. So I just searched the exact text to find this exact page and read the one paragraph right after where she cut the text for her video, where it says, if, however, you're a trans woman who has had bottom surgery to create a vaginoplasty, and possibly a cervix, there's a very small risk that you can develop cancer in the tissues of your neo-vagina or neo-cervix. The risk depends on the type of surgery you had and the type of tissue used to create your vagina and cervix and your personal health history. Talk to your healthcare provider to figure out your specific cancer screening needs as part of your overall pelvic health following surgery. So, Blair White made a video responding to a TikTok where she calls the people in the TikTok crazy trans activists for telling people who watch the TikTok who've had bottom surgery and are trans that they should in fact get tests to make sure they don't have cancer in their neo-vagina. She responds to that by calling them crazy and wild, shows that those two paragraphs and kind of implies that there is no scenario where trans women can get cervical cancer. And then you look at the exact paragraph beneath where she cut it and it says, although yes, you can and you should get checked. So yeah, pretty fucked. The problem is proving defamation is really hard because you have to prove malice and intent, and you also have to prove that what was said had a demonstrable negative impact on, say, your business, for example, or like a massive demonstrable impact on your mental health and like your life. So we'll see how it goes. It's really hard to sue people for defamation or libel or anything like that in America because we've got such strong protections for free speech.
Her videos have caused immense harm to our communities, and I think it's time we start pushing back. That's why we want to turn Blair White into the next Alex Jones. Since she started making videos in 2015, Blair has sold out her own community for brand deals and so.
Of course, Blair White took an established titles. Do you think she's made a video talking about established titles, defending herself, or apologizing about that? Or do you think she just kind of silently took down her established titles sponsored video or videos? For those that don't know, established titles is a scam. Hold on, Blair White. If she hasn't uploaded anything about it, then she just took the videos down or left them up in hopes no one noticed. Balenciaga, reacted. Yep, nope, she hasn't talked about it at all.
How much you want to bet she took it down? Ooh, damn. So Blair White's video is called Exposing Eli Ehrlich, Trans Predator with Leaked Texts DMs. Okay, so basically Blair White's video is straight up called Exposing a Trans Predator. So literally alleging a crime here. So falsely alleging crime, that is something that there may be grounds to sue for here. That actually makes Eli's case a lot better.
Celebrity among far-right outlets. More recently, she's made a huge profit in her series of video attacks on trans teachers, parents, and children. Actual children. The more outrageous her videos are, the more she stands to earn from them. Blair's videos have caused mass harassment campaigns against vulnerable people all over the world. I personally received hundreds of harassing comments, misgendering messages, and straight-up death threats since she made her video against me. But this isn't...
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and we need to stop pretending like there is any other scenario that is where this isn't the case, okay? 60+% of Blair White fans are transphobic cis guys jacking off to her videos. That is a thing that is happening. You know that because a lot of the people who come out to attack anyone Blair White goes against are literally transphobic. Like, not transphobic, but like they think Blair White is valid. No. If you even stop to like read some of the comments that were flashed on screen there for a second, the Blair White fans were trans and pretending to be women. And these are Blair White fans. These are dudes who are probably like massive fucking sexually repressed weirdos, okay? The amount of like hatred and derision that people like this on the internet have for trans people doesn't just originate from a place of disgust. It actually originates from a place of shame for a lot of these guys. The ones who are the most obsessed with hating on trans people, it's a place of shame. They feel attraction to trans people, perhaps even a fetishization of attraction towards trans people, and they are ashamed of it. And that shame, they try to sort of pave over with loud vitriolic hate. That is a lot of Blair White fans.
And this isn't just about Blair either. Far-right commentators like Blair feel that they're free to lie and defame queer and trans people without any repercussions. Trans teachers are being fired from their jobs. Trans teens are losing healthcare. And trans parents are having their children taken away. In the past, Blair has acknowledged that she's defamed trans people. However, none of us have tried to take her to court before. So, we're going to change that. In Blair's video against me, she's made dozens of false statements, ranging from rape to pedophilia to manslaughter. She hasn't apologized yet, even after knowing the statements she made were false. Thankfully, I have all the receipts. Well, being subject to this video that has 500,000 views.
One thing that I will say is it typically like good practice to announce that you're suing? Because I know that in a lot of cases, we're probably not going to get a lot of details regardless, but like, isn't it typically like, maybe the lawyer said it would be fine. I don't know if they've like spoken to a lawyer yet, like Eli and her team. But like if they have, I feel like a lawyer would say, no, don't make a video about this. But I don't know. I've never sued anybody, nor have I been sued, so I don't really know how this would go. Isn't the person on screen a lawyer? I thought she said she was. Oh, is she a lawyer? Well, in that case, Blair White fucked with the wrong person.
Make you a little terrified. I also see it as an opportunity. It's a rare chance that we can actually stop her from harming more people. Some of the allegations she made against me have been made by others before, and each has been disproven on their own. However, her video has some information that she just made up, and she knew was false when she was making statements. In her video, she claims that I harassed a former partner to suicide. Not only was this person still alive, which is an easily verifiable fact, but Blair knew that they were alive when she made the video. I messaged her.
Wait, she accused, okay, Blair literally accused this woman of murdering somebody, of like at least manslaughter. Like to literally push somebody into committing suicide, like that's certainly like an actual unironic crime. Blair falsely lied and accused this woman of multiple crimes, like serious crimes. Now, normally, like if all Blair did was say, another trans groomer we're covering today, another trans groomer, then like she might have been able to get away with it. But here we're talking like actual unironic allegations, knowingly false allegations of real serious crimes towards another public figure. I remember hearing on Shark's chat that Eli's lawyer had sued Blair before, and they're going back for seconds. Interesting.
And she responded, but she decided not to mention it. Her actions are beyond humiliating. She didn't just say that I was accused of these things. She said it as though it were a fact. But because of this, it does create legal grounds for actual malice. That is, knowing her statements were false while she was making them. This is the necessary component.
It's so unfortunate that the stuff that I've already mentioned in this stream, those examples of her knowingly lying to push an agenda that she wants to push, it's so unfortunate that none of those would probably even be admissible in court. You know, I don't think like any of those would do anything to prove that Blair White has a character or history of lying about these things. Like you couldn't. There's nothing you wouldn't be able to admit it. You wouldn't be able to use it as part of your case against her. Sadly.
Any thoughts on this so far? I mean, I know the video is getting kind of long there.
No, this is great. Blair White fucked around and now she's gonna find out. Like, she fucked around with a lawyer. Blair White is known to do this kind of stuff. I haven't watched her in a really long time, but I do remember like a few years ago, she was going around calling like, so there was like some, like, it wasn't even trans people. It was just really creepy dudes that were wanting to dress up like women to lure kids in with the whole trans thing, to do weird things to little kids. And she called them like straight up, these are trans people that are grooming children, instead of like speaking the actual truth of like, no, this is not people that are part of the trans community. These are people that are just dressing like the opposite sex to lure kids in with the trans community symbolism. So she's been doing this kind of stuff for years, and I'm finally happy to see that somebody's out there who's obviously a lawyer that's going to be able to do something to her, because she's too much. She's fuck around and find out, and she's about to find out. So
she was in some she was in LA with her boyfriend years ago, and decided to go to a place, LGBTQ rally with her Trump, her Make America Great hat again. And I mean, most people were okay with her, but there was some guy with a pink pussy hat that attacked her supposedly, and this person was such an exaggerated caricature. It was, I mean, I looked at it again. I was just like, this person's such an exaggerated caricature. It's like, no, I think that this person that threw this fake blood on her, and I think it was something like that. It was like fake blood on her. I think that person was paid to do that to make liberals and progressives look like they were unhinged.
I mean, definitely. That's something that Blair White would do.
Yeah, I think it was a publicity stunt on her part, because the person that person with that, I'm sorry, but the person that did that didn't even look like the so-called SJW. It looked like some regular, probably right-leaning person trying to dress up like what was called an SJW. That's how it struck me, and it was like a very exaggerated version. Just something about it just didn't strike me correctly about that. I mean,
most influencers do that, so it's a normal thing for them.
It could have been the real deal, but I seriously doubt it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let them continue.
Even though, logically speaking, no, absolutely, that is evidence that Blair White is a liar.
And for defamation of public figures. And the upside of all of this is that it is a very clear-cut piece of defamation. The question isn't if we can win. The question is how much he's willing to concede. Her actions aren't just about me as an individual. This is something much bigger. Jesse Earl calls it the right-wing disinformation pipeline.
How right?
Okay, we're going to do something about that ad blocker thing this week, hopefully. Okay.
And generate misinformation. The pipeline that they use.
Oh.
Okay. Everything gets a return, doesn't it, chat? Do you guys remember literally like 2 years ago, year and a half ago, when I was saying there's going to be another anti-SJW wave, there's going to be a new pipeline, there is going to be, down the road from now, there's going to be a bunch of Zoomers making videos about how they fell down the Matt Walsh, blah, blah, blah pipeline and got out. Because something you have to realize is a shit ton of the Zoomers falling into this Matt Walsh shit are going to realize they're trans in a couple years. How many of you in chat who are trans were little chuddy little Zoomers back in Gamergate? How many of you trans people in my chat realized you were trans after getting out, or realizing you were trans helped you get out of the alt-right rabbit hole back in the day? I've gotten a lot, and I mean a lot, of messages and emails telling me, your videos helped get me out of the alt-right rabbit hole and realize I was trans. And I always love reading messages like that. It's very heartwarming. A lot of people go through that. That trend is not going to stop. A shit ton of these Matt Walsh fans, a shit ton of these like Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, whatever. List the people, right? A ton of these people are going to get older and realize, oh shit, LGBT, and they're going to fall out. That alone will be a big part. That alone will play a big part. Yeah, a lot of the trans people in my chat are even admitting they made attack helicopter jokes at one point back in the day, and now they're literally trans. It's just, yeah, they're gonna grow out of it.
to give seeming validity to discredit and attack marginalized groups and people. A pipeline that literally generates itself all the way up to folks like Tucker Carlson, one of the top right-wing news shows in the world.
Jesse, along with several other content creators, actually researched Blair's video and disproved nearly every statement in it. Even after Jesse's video received hundreds of thousands of views.
To be fair, it's not that hard to debunk anything Blair White says. Obviously, we're talking about this there, but like to be fair, to be very clear, Blair White is not very smart or very good at lying. That's the thing. Like, can you imagine lying about your political compass test results and forgetting to close the tab in which you literally Googled search results to find the fake results you were going to use open in your video? Like, she's not a good liar. There's a reason she gets caught and has to apologize every once in a while, and you know why so many people are able to call her out and recognize that she's just not good at lying. She leaves very obvious evidence of her lying, in her tracks, right?
Refused to respond. So now we're taking her to court. She can't keep making these videos and causing so much trauma in our community. We want to send a message that vulnerable people cannot continue being attacked like this for profit. So that's where you come in. I've retained a trans lawyer, Remy Green, here in New York.
Hi, my name is Remy Green. I'm a civil rights lawyer and I'm representing Eli in this case. Our firm has, shall we say, experience litigating against Miss White. And
I feel like there's a lot of trans lawyers, I feel like. Is there something about being trans that actually, to be fair, there is, like, trans people on average do have higher IQ. Isn't that, like, unironically the case, like, than cis people? Like, it's not by an insane amount or anything, but, like, just on average, like, which probably has to do with being more progressive. Like, if you're trans, you're probably going to be more progressive. If you're progressive, you're probably going to be smarter. And if you're smarter, then there's typically not necessarily a correlation or like a causation between IQ and intelligence, but like sometimes there's like a reflection, So yeah, I don't know. It's just trans and LGBT people in general just seem to be smarter. Not me, Xander Hall, I'm a doofus. But listen, I'm just talking about the stats, guys. It's just what the stats say.
Winnable defamation cases are, for very good reasons, extremely rare. You have to clear a very high bar to bring them. But here, Ms. White has elegantly leapt over that bar, and we look forward to showing exactly how.
The initial court cost will be around $60,000. I'm in school and obviously can't afford that. But with community support and the millions of people that want to see this kind of...
Hey guys, that's your cue. This is your cue. Is the video too quiet? I actually can't even. I can use a volume booster to make it louder. Hold on. A volume booster add-on might do it.
Kind of disinformation removed from the internet. We can make this visible. Don't get me wrong. I know that courts aren't always the best place to fix injustices. Courts chronically fail marginalized communities, and the odds have historically been stacked against us. However, Blair is beyond restorative justice practices. This is a clear case, and Blair White is weaponizing these same systems against us. She tried to have the DEA arrest me and has called the cops on numerous activists before.
Wait, Blair actually tries to narc? Like, unironically actually tries to narc. How deep is the boot down her throat?
Content for her videos. We're here to say that this can't keep on happening. It's time to put an end to it. Finally, as a community organizer, I want to be as transparent as possible. All funds will be going to Cohen and Green Law. If we receive extra, we can actually strengthen our case with additional evidence collection. If they have funds left over after the case, they'll either be used for similar litigation or donated to organizations like the Marsha P. Johnston Institute, Trans Justice Funding Project, and the Oprah Project. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the message. If you have any questions about this fundraiser or the case, I'm more than happy to answer them. Just let me know in a message or comment.
By the way, the reason why Blair White would call the DEA on a trans activist is because she thinks that she can, like, get the DEA to crack down on some supposed, like, illegal, like, hormone distribution, organization. I guarantee that's why Blair would have called the DEA. There's no other reason than that, which is possibly the funniest thing ever. It's pathetic, but it's also kind of funny that she would do that. It really just kind of gives you an insight into Blair White's character. She genuinely is a bad person.
And Blair, I'll see you in court.
Hot damn. Using Blair White's own sass against her. That's like the way that Blair White will talk to somebody, let's hear, what's a good name for somebody that Blair White would go after? I don't know, trans activist number 443 I've covered. I'm coming for you. Like using that kind of vibe against her. I like it. I approve. That gets a thumbs up from me right there. All right, chat. Here is what you must do, or you are all transphobic and will soon be banned from my community. I want you all to go like that video, subscribe, and comment something positive. Like, just comment something positive. You don't need to comment it was from me. Just comment, good luck or be strong.
Yeah, that video's over anyway. So, so anyway, that's as I said, Blair White, you know, she's interesting, but she's kind of a ditz, and she's kind of she's kind of a grifter. I mean, like the fudging of the ideology quiz, the quadrant. She was like on the green corner, and I think that probably many of us would score on the green corner of that quadrant. And she couldn't have that, so she forced herself on the right side of that quadrant because she don't want that fan base to get angry with her. And there's nothing wrong with that green left corner, but anyway,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but she is. It is obviously she's a grifter, and she also is confirmation. What's the term? Confirmation bias for a lot of folks that have these feelings toward the trans, whether they're repressed people or whether they're actual right wingers who are using her the way they will use Candace Owens or use Dave Rubin or somebody like that, and say, well, I'm valid because such and such person, this demographics said what I've been saying, so that makes what I say valid because what they're saying is valid. I mean, and that's what it's about, in my opinion.
Yep, just the same way they use Candace Owens, all the rest of them. So just in different ways.
I'm not saying that somebody could be. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that somebody who's a minority are not allowed to whatever to be a gatekeeper, and they're not allowed to have a conservative opinion. I mean that would be racist on my part to just make that assumption. Individuals are individuals, and they have any individual can embrace whatever ideology they want for whatever reason. And for somebody who may be an African American that will be a Trump supporter, or maybe they like their taxes low and they really have an attitude about wanting their taxes low, or they like this policy or that policy, because individuals are individuals, I could disagree with that, with their views individually about it, but as I said, I'm at the same time, there are instances where you see someone like a Candace Owens or someone like a Blair White or someone like that who are so obviously, a useful idiot for the broader right-wing movement. So,
right. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, I agree. Yeah. There's definitely going to be all kinds of diversity when it comes to the left or the right side, or conservatism or liberalism or progressivism. There's all different types of diversities in that. It's just, there comes a point where, you got to not give in, at least the diversity of people that can't give into the conspiracy theories that are brought out by these like right-wing conservative Christian ideologies. Last time, I mean, it's just been proven in history, that anytime the conservative Christian ideologies rule, something bad always happens to other people as well. Look at what happened with the Salem witch trials. It happens way too much. So it's the only thing that they need to remember and hope to remember.
Yeah, Salem witch trials and everything, and as I said, I mean, this whole transphobia is sort of a combination of like a witch trial, and it's a combination of the homophobia from the past. Even though it's not a form of homosexuality, but it's a form of discrimination that's part of the LGBTQ community. That suffers from the discrimination, and even Hillary Clinton claiming that Democrats and progressives are putting too much emphasis on trans community. Nobody called her out on it, and they should call out Tulsi Gabbard for some of her toxic rhetoric against the trans community, but nobody calls out Hillary Clinton when she made some insensitive remarks toward the trans community as well. And so I don't know why it's okay to go after Tulsi, but not okay to go after Hillary.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so Is there anything else? Anything else you might want to add to this, or?
No, I'm just checking out your comment section. Neo's algorithm came on here and pretty much clarified what his video was about. And so I wanted to quickly say thank you for clarifying about that, because I wasn't sure what he was implying in his video, but it seems like he clarified it in the comment section. And it's really funny is you got the comment section also. Every time you had a commercial going on, they were all drinking. So
we'll take a look at the comment section here and scroll through real quick, and then I guess we'll sign up, and I'll talk to you when this video ends here real quick. So we got a busy little chat line here.
Mm-hmm.
I like busy chat lines. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, we had Snipe Hunter really early on. Catherine Ann McCloskey is up here. She may still be here. Hi, Catherine. Let's see. Kelly. We know Kelly. As long as the voting machines are privately owned and easily hackable, nothing we do will work. Yep. Let's see. Hey ho. I will not vote for Joe nor any Dem or Repub ever. Yeah. Well, yeah. I know I'm voting Green Party more than likely in 2024. John Kemper says people can vote for whomever they want. That's just my voting preference for 2024. John Kemper is here. Hey, how are you doing? I love Neo. Let's see, what do you say? I love Neo's attitude. Let's see. John's my man. Let's see. All right. We also had optimism, enthusiasm of what hurts the most. Yeah, regarding Bernie from earlier. Hey, from Oregon, John, Willie, Kelly, Jimmy, Snipe. Oh, we're carrying signs now up here. Les Bones, of course. How are you doing, Les Bones? Let's see. Okay, we're going to scroll down. Let's see here. Bernie would bend the knee to deaneries Tarragon so fast. Let's see. War crimes. Let's see. I see. I think Lesterman's referring to AOC with the support military aid to Ukraine. And I'm scrolling through here. All right, and let's see. All right, and let's see here. Okay, and I think a lot of it that we were commenting on in between here. So I'm just looking through, and all right. Okay, and with regard to Neo algorithms, I'm going to probably, and there's just no problem. I'm going to leave down his link, and I'm going to put it down on the description box below. So y'all give Neo algorithm a sub and support him. I'll leave his Twitter information as well. And let's see here. Anything else here? All right, let's see. Yeah, that was what it's called. Thank you, Kelly. I was trying to talk about the Clinton scandal, Whitewater. For some reason, it was escaping my mind at the moment. All right. And Warren was here, or he may still be here. How you doing, Warren? Let's see. All right. I think that's probably going to be it for the chat lines right now. So, everyone, thank you for showing up. Thank you, Jimmy, for showing up with me, and everyone. Be sure to watch What tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Coast, and Monday through Friday, and watch me throughout the week whenever I show up, and I'll be back here Saturday night from 9 to 11 doing my usual show, and support independent media and support First Amendment and create your own platform and do what you can to counter all the narratives that come from corporate media. So everyone, take care, and we will chat again soon.